Hello, 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 Facebook family. How are you this evening, this February the 13th day? How are you? I pray that all is going well for you in this season. Guys, today we're going to talk about something that I really don't have a problem with it, but it seemed like a lot of our churches have our Christians have a lot of problems with it. But let me get a disclaimer up in here before we start talking about this, because we don't want nobody to throw any rocks and stuff at us about this conversation about the church and the Grammys. I don't know what's going on. But okay, this platform discusses any and all information that is known to the public and that are opinions of the host and guests. We use sources that are unconventional and conventional. Bridging through conversations is in no way to be offensive to any persons, groups, or organizations. It creates open conversations needed to close gaps in topics others may not be willing to discuss. Nowadays, everybody is willing to discuss just about anything, but we're going to try to make sure that we try to go in some more deeper ones, but then it might not be deep enough. So, okay. The information is alleged to others, but are our truths to having open conversations, guys. That is so important, to have open conversations. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. I'm a little bit of greasy lips today. Okay. Has welcome, welcome, welcome to Bridging Through Conversations. I you're on there. Okay. I am Diane Spirit Love, and this is a great day. This is a great Monday, and again, I think that we're going to have a pretty good conversation talking about the church and the Grammys. And again, guys, I know I always say this, y'all, we are church bound here. We are really church girls right here. But some of these things that's happening within the church and what's said in the church is just boom. Okay. What you think, Tasha? Bring it in.
I'm trying to compose myself, but what's up, y'all? Happy Monday to you. This is Tasha. TC knows. No, I do not know everything, but I love sharing with you what I do know. And I'm about the conversation and the buzz that's been going around on social media on the church, what the church is saying. And because the people that's talking, the people that's, rebuking folk say about the gospel artists that won the Grammys this year, which they have to, I mean, shoot, they should be proud of winning an award such as the Grammys. And I got something to say about it anyway, because, honey, a lot of folk that's in the church now hadn't always been out there partying and drinking and dancing and doing all kinds of doing that. And they still love the Lord. And they have a balance. Some folks don't have a religious spirit. Some folks just don't. They ask God thing. They depend on, and I'm not saying that that's wrong, but hey, some people do. They feel like gospel artists that won the Grammys, ain't nothing wrong with that. God is a creative God. He's the creator of everything. Can't be creative in our own right, and that's what He's given to Kirk Franklin and Lamore. He gave them creativity. So guess what their creativity means? That's what it got them. And church folk, what you mad for? What they mad for, Spirit Love? I don't understand.
I don't know. But I want to introduce you guys to a book. And it's on the same topic. And it's James Cone, right? and he talked about, I'm gonna have to figure out how to turn this thing around. I'm gonna have this right the next time. It's called The Spirituals and the Blues, right? And what he's saying in this book is that all of our music are combined together. It took one music to make all music, right? So it's not like that we're going off the grid and doing music, because all of our music come from it's basically the same. Sometimes I listen to some gospel music, sometimes I listen to some R&B music, and both of them sound the same to me, right? And they're it's of God, a lot of them. And I think about prime example. I've said this before also, Larry Graham, when he talked about love covers a multitude of sin. It's called, I think it's called Love, and I think that album is Love Central. I think that's what it is. But it talk about how, it talk about love, and how, in the Bible, it's just Bible verses all the way through that song. But when we were coming up, we were dancing to it, because I wasn't really, listen to the words. I was listening to the music, right? And that's one thing about us as a race. We really like to groove to the music, and stuff. And sometimes we don't listen to the words of a song, right? But when you start listening to the words of a lot of these songs, they're basically the same. So I don't really see a biggie in whether if black gospels, white gospel singers, Latino gospel singers, or whoever, whatever music, is at the Grammy. Music is music, and I think they all go in together. You can take an R&B song and preach on it, because it's going to help you, in your life. So I don't really see a big thing about it. And some people probably say I'm gonna die and go to Hades, but I can't see the difference in the music. Like I love the blues, I love jazz, I love classical music. I love just about all kind of music. When my kids were young, I used to play classical music at night for them to rest, just for their bodies to calm down, because I had three boys and they was all like boom boom boom, hitting walls and stuff. So classical music was the thing that I played for them, for them to sleep at night. And when I just want to just like mellow out, right? I could get some slow jam music and just play it, and it just mellows me down, right? And gospel music do the same too, but slow jam music, it's just really soothing, to the soul. So I don't understand. I guess I'm just in uh a different zone when it come down to music. What you think? I just don't. I really don't know about this thing. It just really disturbed me where people try to be so holy, and I don't. I just don't. I don't agree. I don't agree with how people getting so mad at it. That I'm point blank.
I don't agree with it either. And you know what? I'm sitting here thinking about a couple of moments in my life where that person that was so religious that when people saw me and this other individual, because you probably remember this individual that I was with at the time when we were singing. So every time that they see me and this individual come, they're like, "Oh Lord," because the individual did not have balance in our lives, and so we was always, talking about God. Don't get me wrong, nothing wrong about talking about God, but God, you gotta have some balance somewhere in your. It's like you gotta. It's like a balance. Either one side gonna be heavier than the other. It's gonna be, the same. So at this point in my life, one side was heavy because I was so bound and I was so imprisoned with a lot of the things that I have been. Excuse me. Some of those things that I was taught in error. Some of those things that I have in my own mind, in my own imagination, because of what I thought would directly and indirectly. So it just caused me to just not experience that, because now I understand, with me experiencing more things in my life. And there was another moment in my life where, and this happened before before this particular moment that I just finished speaking about car. And this is like maybe early 90s, maybe mid 90s. Laughed so hard. My sister, she's a lover of, she's very eclectic. She loves, and you know what? One of us is country music.
Oh, yes.
Country music. I mean, she loves it. And she can sing anything. I mean, she can make up a song. Me and her were riding in the car, and she said, Tasha, and this is when cassette tapes were still in the car as a radio. Still had cassette tapes. And she still have all of her cassette tapes. Every cassette tape that she's ever has them. So we was in the car riding. She's like, Tasha, I want you to listen to this. And I was like, oh, cassette tape in. On one side, on side A, she started playing, and it was gospel. So of course it was a familiar song. So I started my song. Spirit Love, and on the radio where you can hit it and it will automatically turn, reverse.
Yeah.
And the other side started playing. Lord, she started playing R&B. She had one side. She had one side. And one side gospel. When she played that R&B song on the other side, I thought I was about to just die laughing because it was so funny. I was like, oh my God, R&B music on this gospel tape. She was like, music is music.
Yeah.
And so that experience just made me think what people are saying about the Grammys, what the church is saying about the Grammys, and Kirk Franklin winning the awards with Maverick City and all that. I'm like, what the heck is it? So you mad at them because they got awards? Or you mad at them and they in a as they were saying, a secular realm? Okay. Excuse me. Would it be any different if they were at the Stellar Awards and secular artists came? Plenty of secular artists that I believe that actually been to the Stellar Awards.
Yeah.
So what's the problem? Ain't nobody talk about that.
No. But you know what? A lot of our R&B singers came from the gospel ramp, right? And gyro. I mean, that ain't how you say it.
Genre.
Genre. Come on, tongue. Came from that genre, right? So, and it's not like they forgot who they were. One thing that my Dennis, I think Dennis said this on he was on one of my lives, that he asked, he called his godfather, which is my husband, right? And was asking him about if somebody would, I'm going to paraphrase it. If he probably covered what they say, well, that ain't right, that ain't how he said. But it was somewhere in that realm of, if someone asked him to do R&B music, would it go against who he is? Because he's been in church all his life too, and sometimes it like get him a little bit, right? And one thing that my husband said that I totally agree with him on is that, that's your the way you make your living, right? You make your living doing R&B. That has nothing to do with who you are on the inside. It has nothing to do with your relationship with God. It just has something to do with what you do. That's your job. Because that was one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to sing R&B music. That was my thing. I was in church all my life, but my goal was to be an R&B singer, not a gospel singer, but an R&B singer. But it didn't stir me away from who I am, who I love. I love God, right? But I'll get up and say some R&B music in a minute. I get up and sing some jazz or some, I sing that, right? So I don't think that R&B music, rhythm and blues, you know, even just a the what the R&B stands for, rhythm and blues, should not make us so angry, especially in the black churches, because that's where we came from. We came from that. We came from the blues. I was listening to an interview from BB King, and he was saying that he wasn't raised a slave, right? But his ancestors was slave. But he remember cotton, right? And he remember how it was hard, working on the farm, picking cotton and stuff. And that's where the blues came from, the hardships, that you have in your life, right? It came from that. And not only did the blues come from the hardship that you had in your life, but then the blues moved right on over to the gospel music, to the spiritual, realm of music, right? Because the spiritual music, the blues brought you from the sorrow, what you was coming through. The gospel brought you through, like, okay, I made it. I made it through. Thank you, God, I made it through. I've been like that song. I've been through the storm and the rain, but I made it. So that goes into the gospel, right? So, and then the gospel go right on it from the blues. I'm gonna skip over. I'm gonna do a diagram. The blues right here. Skip over the gospel, and then go on to the R&B, because it all goes right on in there together, because the R&B comes from blues and the gospel. It just comes from there. And then some of the R&B singers, uh they can't even get through a full concert without bringing the gospel in. So I can't understand, what? It's not like they have forgotten who they are. They still bring out who they love. Like every award that they get, who do they acknowledge first?
They
They
acknowledge
acknowledge God.
God.
So I
Yeah.
don't I don't understand the bitterness from the church. In the gospel, one thing that the church need to sweep around their own front door, like the Williams brothers saying. They need to sweep around their own front doors before they try to sweep around the Grammys doors.
But what
Sweep
really make
around your
what
own.
re- yeah, hey, I agree with you on that. But you know what really just makes me so upset is because people, they're so quick to say that somebody is going what they think that God would. How you know God ain't pleased with that? How do you know God ain't pleased with it? They just automatically just condemn them to hell doing something that God gave them to do.
It's
God
their
put in them
gift.
to do. Yeah. But you're gonna say, oh, I feel sorry for them. Or they're not doing what God is called them to do. How you know that? You live in their house.
You say
I
they
mean,
feel. They say they feel sorry for them.
I've heard religious folk
You
say
so
that.
religious. Okay.
Yeah. I've heard them say that they feel sorry for because they are going this way, operating in their gift, the gift that God gave them. Sorry for them. Or why would you say that they're going to hell or they're not on the right? That bothers me for a person. Yeah, but they love God. They love God. Oh, they love Him.
I love God. What's wrong with you? Don't love God? I love God. What's wrong with you? And that ain't nothing but a slow rap. You know, that ain't nothing but it's just a slow rap. All they got to do is speed it up a little bit, and it's a rap song. So I don't really, I really don't, understand that. I'm trying to see. I'm just really trying to see where we're going where the church is really going with being so negative about the Grammys. I don't know if it's because I guess I'm trying to really figure out what's the biggie about about gospel music in the Grammys. Music, again, music is music. So what's the big thing, about this? I really wish some the people would come in and respond, help us out with this to see what's so biggie about this thing, because I guess I'm kind of a little ways I'm confused, and then some ways I get a little angry because then we start messing with our young people, right? It begins to make them feel like that they can't be who they are, right? And one thing that I always taught my boys and teach my grandchildren, right, is to be a leader, not a follower, right? And to be you, be who God designed, you to be. We can't read God's mind, right? We don't know what the thoughts of God, what He would desire, for us sometimes, until we begin to grow and it begin to manifest in us through God, right? So we can't just say that that's not what God, would have you to do. God wouldn't have you to be out there doing R&B. He wants you to be in the church. He wants you to be in the church, playing for the church and singing for the church, right? But I just don't believe sometimes that that's it, because the word of God says go out in the highways and the byways, right? And he didn't pinpoint which highway to go on, which byway. He didn't pinpoint which one. He didn't say, the highways is I want you to go on, need to have all churches on that highway, right? The byways, I want you to have all synagogues or all whatever, on those roads, right? He didn't specify, where, right? So I think that if we can't go with our gift that God has anointed us with in the places where the people are, what good are we? What good are we?
Right.
Because I think about when I went to Fantasia's concert, and when I went to, I'm just letting y'all know, I do be going to concerts. I'm just letting you know, you can say whatever you want to say, but and I would have been at that Grammy too if I had some gospel music. I would have been at the Grammy too. But when I went to Fantasia's concert, she brought out the gospel. It was like okay, now we can do an altar call, you know. And so, and when Patti LaBelle, when she do her concert, she bring out the gospel. And
Hmm.
again, we should just go ahead and do an altar call, and have prayer and just do a benediction, and go home, right? So I don't think that when we try to distinguish the different musics, genre of music, that we should try to say that just because they're doing this, because they're in this form. And I think that's basically what it is, the form, what we're looking at, right? That we should consider it not touching someone, because God, every gift that God gives us, right, is to benefit Him, right? Whichever way it go
Right.
out there, God gonna make it so that it's gonna benefit Him, right? So when they go out and they see all of these young people, their thing might be that, to be a leader in front of them, to
Right.
let them know that, this is the way you do it. Even though I'm doing R&B, I still acknowledge God in my life. And they sure, when they get those Grammys, first of all, I just like to thank God. The first ball person that's in my life is God. I just give God praise and honor and glory, for bringing me this far. And if it were not for Him, I would not have this award right now. And I bless you, God. So I'm just adding on to it. But that is what they do. So that's showing the people, the young people, that, you know, even though I'm doing this music, I'm still acknowledging the one that got me here. If it were not for Him, I would not be here.
I totally agree with what you're saying. Glad that we had this conversation tonight, because a lot of, like you said, they still look at the Grammys. Now I will say this: the Grammys, um, Stellar Awards. They ain't like it used to be back in the day. Now, I'm gonna just put it this way: back in the day, now that's when you was excited. Not missing the Grammys. I'm not missing the BET Awards. I'm not missing the Stellar Awards. The music back then was totally different.
Yeah.
20 years ago, you know. But I'm getting ready to ask you a question, Spirit Love. What do you have a favorite R&B music or R&B song?
A favorite art. I love Denise Williams. That's that song Loving You. Now I used to sing that song. That's what really made me want to be an R&B singer, right? Because I every note that she could hit, I used to be able to hit it, right? And I would be in my mother's backyard singing that song, and my goal was to be, an R&B singer. I just love that song, loving you. I love that song, and I also I like Diana Ross too, right? And I brought all of her albums, and I passed it on to my uncle. I should have never gave him my albums. No, I'm just kidding. I should have kept my albums, right? But I really love Denise Williams because she that song and Black Butterfly. I just loved her. I really did. And I still do. She's dead and gone, but I always like to speak in people and still in the present. Because they still you left such a mark on life, right? That you still present, in this environment
Yeah,
because of what you left here and stuff. But yeah, but I love her, and I love a lot of R&B music. Girl, I could have a darn concert in here. I love Larry Graham. I I like the Ohio Players. I like and see. Notice I'm going old school, but I
yeah,
do
you going
like New
old school.
Edition. Now I do like New Edition. Now when they come back, I plan on going to the New Edition concert. I'm just putting that out in the atmosphere and let you guys know. So if anybody come to Exhort that saw me at the concert, I'm just letting you know in advance that I am going to the New Edition concert when they come. And when Stevie Wonder come back, I'm going to Stevie Wonder too. And if Rihanna come, I'm going
Look,
to her concert too.
look, Suzanne will be happy to go with you to the New Edition. Truly a fan. Truly a
Really?
fan.
Well, maybe I need to get with maybe
Yeah.
I need to get with her. But, maybe I need to get with her and go with her because I was just gonna go with one of my boys, right? But if she want to go, I most definitely will get with her and go because I don't see. You know what? I started a pastor's class at Exhort Sunday, right? And one thing that I brought out in that class is that we have lost the humor in life. We are so
Mm.
stuck in trying to stick the parishioners that we have truly lost the fun, the joy, in living a saved life. You can live a saved life and laugh and have fun and don't be so stuff collared in preaching the word or teaching the word, of God. But so we have taken that out. So and I was telling them that one thing that I want to make clear in this class that I am going to be talking about is that we are not going to imprison the people of God because they've been in prison for so long they don't even really know what it's like to come out into the light, the true light. I
Oh,
ain't talking about the
Lord.
SUN. I'm talking about the true light, the SON. Everybody want to talk about, we in the true light of the sun, right? But you in prison, right? And Jesus, he ain't said nothing about. He said he was going to what set the captives free, right? But all this time we've been putting people in prison, and when it come down to this, the church and the Grammy, thing, right? We just want to continuously like control people, right, and keep them in prison. I just don't believe that God would have made music a group of music uh, um, just a just so much different, so many different kinds of music, right? That he would want us to be put in a box for just one. He wanted us to just do one, listen to one kind of music. I just don't believe that. I just do not believe that. I think that God wants us to enjoy the fruit, of this earth. And it's not only just eating, the eating part, the nourishing part, like the physical, that you put in your mouth and you chew it up and you eat it. It's just not that. It's the other things in on this earth, in this life, that we have to enjoy. I was also telling them that if we would really take a poll in our church, we would find a lot of stressed out people in the church. It
Yep.
would be it's a lot of people in the church that has high blood pressure, that's diabetic, and just their mind is just not um in a good place, because you trying so hard to hold on to this man-made thing about how a church should run, and what you should do in a church and stuff, that you in prison, and you just making yourself sick. The word of God tells us that laughter is good for the soul. It's like a medicine, right? And I put that in the same group as enjoyment, because when you're enjoying yourself, you're laughing, right? When you go to places that you enjoy, you have this endorphin that make you feel good, right? And when I be with my kids and they listen to R&B music and stuff like that, it makes me feel good because I like the music, and it make me bounce with them and stuff, and it's an enjoyment and stuff, right? And when I go to church on Sunday, I like that same thing, because we do the same thing. We had that good music, in the church, and it just make me feel good, and it just bring out that joy in me, right? And it's a medicine. It's just a medicine to the soul. And I think that if the church keep drilling this in their people, that they don't want them to enjoy all of the different music, is that they're going to get sick. I think the cure for the church is to go to a few concerts.
Look, that would be absolute. And I have to admit something. I had an opportunity to go to a way. Had an opportunity to go to see Gerald Levert,
You
and
should have gone.
had got some. I should have gone, but you know what? I was still in that mode. Oh, Father, thank. Oh, I love the Lord, and that's where I was. And look, I won't ever get to see him perform, because he's no longer here, on this earth. Listen to his music, I was like, dang, I should have went to that darn concert. And so when I reminisce on the songs that I grew up in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, and I'm just like, some good music. And look, y'all music back in the day, and y'all era too. I mean, my husband, he the
Yeah, ma'am.
songs, the
Yes,
songs that
ma'am.
he introduced me to, like he sung to me when we first got married, was oh man, you make me feel
Feel
brand
brand new.
yeah.
God. Listen, wait a minute. Listen to this song, though. God bless me with you.
That's right. See,
And see, and that's the thing right there that just make me so mad. We still, even in the R&B, they're still acknowledging how God brought. And it's just like,
yeah.
it's crazy. It is. I
Yeah.
really hate it. Now I went to see the Isley Brothers too. I'm telling you, and I still love God. I love God. I went to see the Isley Brothers, and I went to see, and I'm gonna tell you the best concert. I'm gonna let you know the best concert that I went to was George Clinton, the Funkadelics, and Bootsy Collins, Funkadelics stuff.
Oh,
They did a concert together. That was the best. My brother was in the Air Force. My older brother was in the Air Force, and he would come home and he would take me to the concerts. And I was still in junior high school, but he introduced me to all of the different music, the different groups and things because he loved music. So when he came home, he would take me to the concerts, and that was the best. Now I love the Isley Brothers. I left the Gap Band. I went to Gap Band. I love those, right? But George Clinton, that man is a nut, and Boosie flying around and his that was really good. Now I'm just gonna let you know, at the it used to be the Charlotte Coliseum. Now it's the Bojangles Coliseum. At that time,
Mhm.
you could smoke inside. I just want you to know that the top of the building, it wasn't nothing but smoke. It was, you couldn't even see the top of the building. It was smoke. It was a cloud of smoke everywhere, coming from the stage all the way back to the back doors. It was a cloud up there, right? And I was in junior high school, and my brother said, "I want you to sit in this seat right here and don't you move," right? And he set me right in the cloud. So that was my very first contact. My very first contact, because I was up in he had me sitting up in the cloud. It was right up in here, and I couldn't smell nothing but what was going on in the atmosphere and stuff. But that was the best. I think that was one of the best concerts, R&B concerts, that I went to. And I would say to all, I mean, I was joking, but I really wasn't joking about the church, that I think that everyone should experience. And I know everybody have I don't care what you say, I don't care what you preach across the pulpit. Everybody have a good R&B uh singing group that they like. Everybody do. You could tell your parishioners whatever you want to tell them, but everybody have a group that they like that's not a gospel group. Everybody have one.
Look,
Everybody.
look, and you're right, they do. Because let me say this, and if you're a pastor and you're married, so all these other pastors out here that's married, I know gone way when y'all be intimate off some darn gospel. Ain't no way. Now there
I,
is some certain couples now, you know. TD Jakes made an album, for the married folk. Okay, that he did. But I'm just gonna tell you, 9 times out of 10, that's some Marvin Gaye, some Luther Vandross, some Freddie man named Freddie. This is Jackson. Freddie something. I can't think of it. Oh Lord, it's going too much on.
but all of the good slow music.
Oh, that absolutely all of. But
All
let
of the
me
good slow
share this.
jam. Yeah.
All the good slow jam. Time I ever heard, I experienced a pastor loving old school R&B music, which was my father. My dad was a pastor. To his office one day, and I was looking for something. I don't, but I came across this CD, and it had George on it, and I was like,
It had what on it?
"Fantastic Voyage."
Oh yeah.
And I said, "What is this?" I said, "What my daddy don't see?" I put that CD in. I said, "Oh," I jammed into it, and it was like, "Come along, get fantastic voyage."
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
"Well, my goodness." I said, the pastor
And that
listened
had a little rap in there
to
too. Come along to take a trip on.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull out all
Hmm.
the music. I'm about to
Yeah.
pull it out. I'm about to pull it out.
Yeah.
But hey, that's some of y'all church folk out there. If y'all ain't never experienced, and I'm talking to myself too. If y'all ain't never been to a concert, y'all might want to go to one. It might cure a whole bunch of stuff in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I most definitely, recommend that. Even like when I was coming up though, my mother had all kind of music, in the house. So we're used to having all kind of music, and we had music from my mother's era, and then my oldest brother started doing a lot of music. And when he did music, I know all Fleetwood Macs. I know all of those kind of music, the white music, the black music, the, like I said, the Hispanic music. It didn't matter with my brother. My brother just loved music, and because we were younger, we listened to it because he wanted to listen to it, right? So a lot of times when I'm in certain places and I hear some music, and it's not from a black band, it's from a white band, and it'll just bring memories, and I just start singing it, just start singing it, and they'll be looking at me like, you know that song? Yeah, I know that song. My brother used to he used to record all of the songs and stuff. So he made us, his younger siblings, aware of all music, not just the Isley Brothers and the OJs, and like I said, the Cool and the Gang, and all those groups, because I'm in that era, y'all. I'm in the 70s and the 80s and stuff, right? So all of those groups, he made us aware, gave us that, but he also gave us other, music and stuff. So we're familiar with, the all kind of music, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful that he did that. The only thing that he did not do, he would never take me to one of their concerts, right? Because I always wanted to see, okay, you bring me to all of these concerts. So I said, I want to see the other side, of the concerts, but he would never, take me to, what was the name of that other group? It was another, something about Wolf. What was the name of that group? It was another group that he would play a lot too. And I said, that's the concert I want to go to, right? I want to go to that concert. But he would never take me to those concerts. But he took me to all of the other ones and stuff. But just the fact of him giving us that education of all music, and my mother, because like I said, wait a minute. My mother had gospel music and R&B music mixed up together. Now, when we would be trying to find, different music, we had to go through the whole thing. She didn't like have it like divided up, right? It was all in there together and stuff. So, we had a mixture. It was a spaghetti mixture of music for us, with my mother and stuff. But it was still good though. And we went to church. So, we went to church, and we still listen to all kind of music and stuff. So I don't, again, and I keep saying this because I want people to understand that there is nothing wrong with listening to all music. It just don't. I just can't. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to dissect this thing, in my head, to understand why we would try to separate music when it's just, all music came from one, and it just divided off. It just sprouted out into different areas in how we play the music, and the words that we, put in the music. But it's all the same. It's just all the same. We just put a more of a clap, in our gospel music, more of a clap, or more of a, waving our hands or crying, and stuff like that, right? In the blues, we just do a little rock, right? We do a little rock, and maybe, a little hum, and it go back to the church, and a little hum, right? In the jazz, you just pat your feet, we just patting our feet, right? Go back to the church. We pat our feet in the church, right? We just pat our feet. When we do the R&B, when it's a beat, a fast beat to it, we just get a little dance in. And what do we do in church? We just get a little dance in, right? We just doing it to the scripture, and we might be doing a little dance in the R&B concert scriptures too. We just don't be really paying attention to the words sometimes, you know.
Well, hopefully they'll get it, because we should not condemn somebody else for doing something that God gave them to do. They have, that He created them for, to
Right,
bring life to somebody's life. Because music, it mellows the heart, really does something to, a person's spirit. And you just have to know, what's the word I want to use. You have to know what's for you and what's for
Yeah.
you is for you. Make somebody else feel bad because they're doing what's for them
Yeah.
and what they love. And so, with that being said, look, that's all I got to say about this topic.
That me too. And I pray that I'm just texting my friend out there. He was saying that his daddy used to spank him for messing with his record player and stuff. We used to live to mess with my mother's record player. She had a hi-fi. You remember? I don't know if you might not remember those, but you remember the hi-fi? We had those where you could put the records on the top, and they would, when one would finish, other one would go down and play the other one, and stuff. We had that, right, and that was awesome. And I don't think I think she entrusted us because she knew how much we loved the music, that we wouldn't tear up anything, and because we loved to hear the music, all of the music and stuff. So we didn't have a problem with that. And even when I think about that now, I just think about how awesome it was that not even my mother's house, but my grandfather's sister that lived above us. We stayed in the middle of my grandparents and my grandfather's sister, right? And it was music coming from her house, and it was a mixture of music. She got her gospel music from calling us up to sing to her for the gospel music. But the other music she would be playing, and we could hear it from out to our house and to my grandfather's house, right? And then our house would play the mixture of music, right? And then my grandparents' house, they would play the music, also. So we just got music, all the way around. And it just really, even, just talking about it now, it just make me feel happy because I just love the way that we were raised, not having to be, just confined to just one set, of music, that we were exposed to all music. And now it don't bother me. I get up in church to sing an R&B song. Like my husband, he did Diana Russ, that song "I'm Coming Out," in the church. So it don't. I think that we gotta think about how the music make us feel, and how it would benefit someone. Because when you think about that song "I'm Coming Out," you think about somebody that has been through pure D hell,
Right.
and you giving a sermon, and somebody out there get up and they just say, "Thank you, God, I've come through this thing, and I just bless God for it." And then all of a sudden the pastor starts singing "I'm coming out," with my hand up, and that's what she doing. She coming out because she blessing God with her hand up, and she's coming out of, the situation. So we got to think about, the different songs and stuff, and how we can implement them into our service and toward you, to the people also, right? Because I like that song that Rihanna sang, that something like a diamond. But how that song go? Bright like a diamond, right? I think that's the
Yeah,
words
shine like
to it.
a
Bright
diamond.
like a diamond. And I think about that song with my granddaughter. She sings that a lot, right? And when I listen to it, I always think about, that's you, because you are bright, you are shining just like a diamond, right? You are that diamond, that she's talking about. So, you can always implement those songs, to encourage your children, encourage your grandchildren, and let them know that you can be who you want to be. Don't let nobody put their thumb on you. You be this. This is what you're a leader. You hold your head up high, and you be there. You come out of that, as pure gold. Look at that.
That's right.
Diana Russ saying, "I'm proud." You coming out as pure gold, and stuff. So yeah, but this was good. I like that. Girl, you start talking about music. I could talk for a good while and start singing some songs and stuff, because I just like music. And even like with wait a minute, we get ready to go. Even like with the note songs. I think about, a lot of people don't, do the note songs anymore or do hymns anymore, right? But the note songs and the hymns, which are basically the hymns, right? They are the blues. Those are the blues songs, right? And they're not only the blues songs, they also round those things up and make them R&B songs, right? And so I just be, I'm thinking, I think I need to have a class with the churches as a whole. I think I just need for all of the churches to come on Bridging Through Conversations. Just guys, y'all just come on Monday nights, and we're just gonna have a conversation about songs. And I'm gonna go through James Combs' book, The Spirituals and the Blues. And he also talk about the gospel, which the spirituals is the gospel in here. Talk about the jazz, the blues, and all that stuff, right? And R&B, right? And let you know that all of these things are the same thing. All of this music is the same. It's basically the same. It's the same.
Yep.
Say what you want to say, do what you want to do, but it's the same. All right. Love you guys. And we thank you so very much for coming out. Thank you, David, for coming out. You guys, I haven't talked to you guys in a good while, but y'all be blessed out there. Take care of yourself. Get all that wood together. They recycle wood and stuff. I've been really trying to follow them to see exactly how it, what they do with it and stuff, but it's good. Those are my friends, my Facebook friends. So, guys, we love you, and really and truly think about the negativity that we put towards that we're putting towards the Grammys, the mixture of the gospel and the R&B and all that stuff. Really think about that, and do your and and study, do your investigating before you open your mouth and you say things, because all of this music is the same. All of the music that we do, it is the same. Okay, so I don't think that there's no difference in R&B and gospel and all of this that we do. And I really do think that we should just laugh more. We should just have more humor and stop being so stiff necked and having a headache and fussing and hollering and stuff about nothing, because this is really nothing to me. Okay, love
That's
you
right.
guys.
This is Tasha, aka TC knows. No, I do not know everything, but I just share some of the church and the Grammys and what the church had to say about the Grammys, which they shouldn't have been saying nothing, but only good things. That's what should have been said, but it wasn't. But hey, join us again this time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time next month. Another awesome topic. And thank you so much for joining. Love.
Thank you. Now, are we going to talk about what I sent you Monday?
We should. I believe we should. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys need to
Talk
put
about
on your
the
y'all need to put on your belt and your whole armor when we talk about this, because it is really for all of our good, and all in love. Okay? All in love.
yeah.
We love you guys. Have a blessed
Yep,
one.
we sure do.
Be safe.